All right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us in this session of Silicon Slopes. My name is Alam Ali. At Motorola Solutions, we're creating great software every day for public safety agencies around the world that rely on cloud services and software. And we're creating some unique capabilities to respond to mission critical situations and protect communities every day. We're going to present to you a series from Motorola Solutions, these tech talks about the cloud and what we're doing to our journey to the cloud. So please join us for these series. This is I think the second one in the series. Hopefully you'll enjoy today's session. As I mentioned, my name is Alam Ali. I'm the Vice President for Records and Evidence Products in the Cloud Infrastructure. And let me share some slides with you. Essentially what I'll be talking with you today about is how we're building our technologies, public safety technologies in the cloud, and really how we're evolving those technologies to the cloud. We have lots of our customers today that are running mission critical software on premises, and our responsibility is to build the cloud products, but in a way that helps our customers make that journey to the cloud in an easy, efficient, cost-effective manner. So that is what I will share with you briefly today on our journey to there. So let me just share a couple of slides here. So just stepping back a little bit, framing what we do at Motorola Solutions. We are, at the heart of it, focused on mission critical ecosystem for public safety and enterprise. We have mission critical systems around radio systems that are the lifeline of police, fire, EMS. We have video security and analytics systems that enable various organizations to monitor what's going on and be able to respond in a timely manner. And we provide command center software that enables agencies do functions like respond to 911 calls, dispatch the critical assets needed, understand what's happened in the incident, and manage the public safety workflow in an efficient manner. And we provide the managed services and support services to help in all of those various areas. Today, in the context of what we do in Motorola Solutions, I'm going to drill in on focus on what we're doing in the command center software arena. Stepping back, one of the first things that we need to understand is what the challenges are to our customers and the customer environment and the problem that we have to solve that they're really struggling with. This is the basis of why and how we're thinking about the journey to the cloud. We're not just moving to the cloud just because it's the cool new jargon and it's the hip thing to do. It's because there's a tremendous need and there's a benefit for our customers and this industry to move to the cloud. So we see in our customer environments that the explosion in the data is just incredible. 100 terabytes of body-worn video collected in major cities every month, and that's just growing. Different agencies are struggling with keeping up to speed and up to date on technology, just being able to upgrade servers, being able to keep on top of patching, let alone upgrading to the latest technologies and capabilities that software has to offer. So it's a big challenge. Security threats are mounting exponentially, every single day, every single month, every single year. There are, the bad actors out there are employing the latest and greatest artificial intelligence and machine learning software to try to attack public safety agencies. And the agencies, trying to keep up to date with that is a very, very big challenge. We also see siloed systems. We have, CAD operators, the computer dispatch operators that have multiple environments, multiple systems that they have to operate, multiple keyboards, multiple screens, multiple mice, and a piece of paper and a pencil in the middle of all that to try to coordinate all of that. And these are for mission critical systems. So these siloed systems are a big problem that our customers are facing. And we have a fragmented market, right? We have vendors of all different ilk that are trying to provide point solutions here and there, and it falls upon the public safety agencies to try to now consolidate all those things together, try to figure out upgrades, try to figure out integration, the entire software life cycle, and this is for every single public safety agency. So we at Motorola Solutions, we've been committed to this environment, to mission critical systems from day one, from the foundation of the company. So we think that we have an opportunity to provide a solution. So when we thought about this, we said, okay, what would we want? What are the benefits that we would want to provide to our customers? So if we do our jobs right, with the vision that we have and how we're designing for the cloud is around, containing this data explosion. How do you enable the management of very large volumes of data, mainly video now, to be managed at scale? And now that data, a lot of it is evidence. So you have to have evidentiary grade systems that manage the chain of custody for evidence grade material. How do we enable our customers to stay ahead of the curve technology-wise, so that we take the burden of continuous upgrade and maintenance and procurement, so that they don't have to constantly go through that and they can really stay ahead of the curve. And the problem of being able to integrate with lots of different systems, how do we enable our customers to constantly stay on the leading edge of technology? We know that there's going to be new providers, new capabilities, and we're going to have integration. Integration, by the way, happens to be one of the largest cost areas of deploying a system, especially in the larger cities. So how do we enable that to happen in a more cost-efficient manner? And of course, how do we provide protection with persistence? That's constant protection, that our customers have the latest and greatest in the software that's protected at multiple levels in this defense in depth type of design, that we remove the burden of continuous protection against cyber attacks, and so that our public safety agencies can focus on serving the communities. And then finally, last but not least, these are dollars that are very precious. These are public dollars typically. So really helping agencies focus their money on where it counts. How do we, again, offload the burden of deploying, reduce that cost so that they can continually make a better use of public funds? So those are the principles in terms of the benefits that we want to provide. So when we looked at that, we said at Motorola Solutions, well, how do we help public safety agencies end to end? The solution that we came up with is that we have the ability to provide end to end from the time the community is engaged with with reporting an incident to being able to process that in the 911 call taking center, to being able to respond to that event, being able to process in real time what's happening in that situation, and then to post-incident resolution and management, being able to do all of the workflow, right? All of the paperwork, how do we automate all of that, make it more efficient, such that record specialists, crime analysts, all the way into inmate management in the jail can be done in a very efficient manner. So we have created this end-to-end system called Command Central that pulls all of these pieces together. All of this is built on top of a public safety platform underneath that is cloud native, that integrates these pieces together, that has big data and intelligence and machine learning built into it by default. This is sort of the approach that we're taking and the product that we're building in the cloud. Now, each one of these pieces today has an on-premises component. So for 911 call takers, right, a large percentage of the 911 dispatch call processing centers today run Motorola Solutions software, and they're on premises. And so likewise, dispatchers, all the way to record specialists, to crime analysts, these systems are on premises today. Our job is to figure out how do we take them to the cloud. Now, traditionally, there's an approach that software companies would deploy to do that. And this is what I'm talking about in this next slide. The traditional dreaded migration project. So typically, you're running your on-premises system, and then you have this event of migrate to the cloud. So you have some activity, a project, development work, project management work, costing, data migration, security, processes, all of these things to migrate to the cloud. Now, that can take 9, 12, 14 months to go deploy that. And all in that time, the public safety agency is getting exactly zero value from all that work. And then at some point in time, there's this go live event that says, okay, now you're going to cut over from your on-premises system and you're going to run the cloud. Now, first, for mission critical systems, you can't really do that. So you have to really have this backup mode so that you're going to try half over here, half over there. That's very difficult to do. Imagine a police department saying, well, I'm going to run some of my records processing over here in the cloud and some of it over there. So I'm going to train half my police force to do it this way and other half to do it a different way. Very difficult to do that. So this is sort of the traditional one. You have this go live. You have to have this failover backup mode that you're running, and then at some point in time, you can end your on-premises system, and then you're fully in the cloud. Now, this method is your traditional one. Long, costly migration projects. There's high risk to the big bang event that something goes wrong. Most likely, there's something that'll go wrong. You got to quickly iterate on that. Customer benefit is questionable at go live. People are trying to understand. It's like, okay, we spent all this time and money doing this. What did we get from it? So that it's a questionable customer benefit. And then, we still have to maintain that on-premises system for a while until at some point in time, you can decommission that. So now we could have done that. We took a different approach. The approach that we took is this principle of evolution, not revolution. So how do we protect our customers' investments on premises, both not just in their hardware and software, but their training? They've trained their people to run their business processes in a certain way. And every single agency is going to have different needs. There are different sizes, different jurisdictions, different rules, different guidelines that they have. How do we enable them to realize value in the cloud over time without this big bang event? So we took this approach of evolution, not revolution, such that we start to build our cloud capabilities and we provide that value immediately to our customers and that are running our on-premises systems today. So what does that mean? So for example, in a record system, that is processing incidents, and then you are taking that incident, say it's a citation that you've gotten, a ticket, and you have to process that maybe all the way through the court. Now, as you're processing all of those incidents, you want to be able to search across all of the incidents very easily in sort of a Google-like search. So now providing that more advanced capability of using modern search technologies, we could have built that on-premises, kind of costly, it could be done, but we chose to say, you know what, we're going to build that in the cloud. We're going to connect our on-premises systems to the cloud. And our agencies and our customers continue to run their processes in the normal fashion that they have, but we're going to give them a new capability in their on-premises system that when they click on it, it will actually launch that capability in the cloud. That the cloud application in the environment has the data from the on-premises system. It's able to pull it up to the cloud, process it, and enable that search capability. Then imagine now not just being able to search, now I want to be able to view an incident across the board with all types of other data that I might have in the cloud. So now I can provide a view of that. Now that same view of the incident is available on the on-premises system, but I might have a larger perspective of that. And then what if I can now start to edit that? I can edit all of that and run all of my processes on premises, but I can slowly start to build out that capability in the cloud. So what does that mean? I can start from simple search, view, edit, keep on adding new business processes that are already on premises, but I can build them out slowly over time in the cloud, providing value to customers today. Now, that first enables customers with value sooner than later, so it avoids the big bang event. We're getting data up into the cloud so that all of the migration of the data transformations, that's happening early. Right? We're trying those things out. Yes, we're finding bugs, we're finding issues, but it's compartmentalized. It's smaller. The impact and the effect is smaller so that we can fix it fast and then we can deploy. And as we build up more and more capability, the customers are getting the same capability, more and more capability in the cloud that they have on their on-premises system. And at some point in time, customers will say that, okay, you know what? I'm running most of my capabilities in this cloud version. I still have my on-premises, my mission critical system, but over time, the cloud version of it is now available. So I can choose as an agency on when I say, you know what? I think I'm done with on-premises systems and I can shut those off. So every customer has the flexibility now to choose how they want to move to the cloud, when they want to move to the cloud, for what value that they see it, so that they can choose that. That also puts pressure on us as a software developer that we have to really provide the true value, right? If customers don't see the value, we will see it. We will see that no, people aren't using the cloud capability. Well, what's wrong? What are we missing in the value proposition so that we can refine those cloud capabilities faster with actual real-time data of the usage. So these are the principles that we've built on, especially in the public safety world. It's resonating well. So as we're moving to this evolution and not revolution, we're really focused on this. Well, what do we mean by evolution? It's this effortless evolution that I described. We're thinking about the user interface, reimagining how you conduct, say, policing end-to-end, public safety end-to-end, reimagined user interface. That so when you see the capabilities in the cloud, the capabilities are the same, but the way you do it is in the most modern design possible. We obviously have constant feedback in the loop. That is key to the success of building the right software and connecting with our customers in real time, right, via the software and the platform underneath. We at Motorola have a deep background on doing deep research and having all of our capabilities solid in terms of the research methodology. So observing users. So all of that we want to bring to bear in our move to cloud with this next generation of technologies. And as I mentioned, that user-defined feature adoption that combined, we're really looking at continuous and iterative updates of capabilities based upon how customers and users are actually using the cloud technologies. So let me dive into a little bit about, well, what are the key things that we thought about and we faced in enabling this architecture? Now, this is just a very high-level architecture. This is obviously not the entire architecture of the software platform overall, but when we looked at how do we enable this continuous evolution, there are a few key things that we had to build that are unique to this methodology that we want to provide for our customers, which is this evolution and not this big bang approach. So, on our on-premises systems, we have to build what I call a cloud-connected services layer, if you will. There's different ways in the software to architect it, but in general, you essentially just have to enable, like, how do you get to the cloud? What are the standard ways of where you're going to connect to? Just build that in a general fashion. And behind that, how do you think about the data, right? Different types of data have different rules, especially in public safety, and especially if you're dealing with evidence, making sure you're maintaining chain of custody, making sure you're maintaining security, roles, permissions. That's very important, that data integrity, and also just the scale of the data. How are we able to get large volumes of data to the cloud to be indexed, right? How do we think about designing for on-premises systems that may not have a large data pipe, right? What are the design parameters and scale points there? Next, how do we think about the workflow? So, for example, if a police department is processing a citation, it has to go through a workflow to get to, say, a court case. So how do we think about all of the workflows, what we call the business workflows, that our customers might be running, and how do they work between on-premises and in the cloud? Can they do it simultaneously? Maybe they can't. Maybe once you start a workflow in some specific entity or item, you have to finish it there. But maybe there's elements of it in between where you can say, yep, this is a place where we can pause and you can have it available. If you choose, you can start doing that workflow in the cloud, and vice versa, right? How does the workflow from the cloud come back down locally? So so these are the types of things that we have to really think about. Permissions, very sophisticated, especially because in public safety, who can see what, and the roles-based access permissions and the granularity of it is very sophisticated. We have multiple on-premises systems with different types of scenarios, different models of how to manage permissions. So we have to figure out, well, how do we merge all of those permissions and all those models together in the cloud? So that's quite a challenge to really figure that out. You have to take your time and make sure you get that right. So these are types of systems that we really on purpose thought about architecting on premises. On the services side and on the cloud services side, couple of elements. These are not all the elements, obviously. There are hundreds of these things, but thinking about the parallel of these things, if we're going to deal with lots of different types of on-premises systems, what are the transforms? How do we think about the data transforms such that we can put all the data in one standard schema, so that we can actually start to scale this out? How do we merge all of those things? So these are some of the software components that we're thinking about. And then how do we put that into the various types of data stores? Cosmos DB here is one type of store that we're using mainly around our big data platform, so that we can do more advanced database capabilities really at large scale. And then pushing those things into other functional capabilities like search, so that we can execute on those types of value propositions. So thinking about the services at these different layers is very important, and making sure that we have data, workflow, and permissions aligned. And this has to be a two-way sync between the on-premises systems and the cloud. As you can imagine, this gets really hairy and sophisticated. So the key thing is to be able to break that functionality down into as small of a components as you can, so that you can really manage it and finish those pieces end to end until before moving and adding more and more capabilities. So in general, that's the way we're thinking about building it. some of the lessons that we've learned in general as we're going through this. And I've mentioned some of these things along the way, but to summarize, one of the things is, as we are on this journey, and it's a different approach to creating a brand new system and enabling our customers to move to it, you have to get early adopters early, because whatever theory you might have, you don't know if it's going to work until you get actual real customer feedback. It's a challenge, especially depending upon the industry you're in. We're in a mission critical industry, so there's less risk you can take because of the mission critical nature of the work, of the data. But there are customers that are willing and want to be on the leading edge of public safety, and they want to come on this journey with us and give us feedback. So how do you build functionality so that they can give you real feedback? And again, depending upon the industry, in the public safety industry, the best type of feedback and most effective is when we're able to build the software such that they can deploy it and run it. It's a general rule for regardless of industry. It's more so in the public safety industry. When the other lesson that we learned is that this idea of evolution, not revolution, we found that it was difficult for our customers to understand. We're on our third year or so of messaging this, of how we're building to our customers. We've done this twice at our user conference. Now our next user conference is coming up next month. But we found that customers kept on asking, well, do I have to move to that? And what's going to happen to my on-premises system? It was a repeated question, because the concept that, no, you don't have to let go of the way you're doing business today. This is an evolution. You're going to build upon what you're doing today, and you're going to move at your own pace. But repeating that message often, getting feedback, not just with our customers, but up and down our organization, and changing that mindset takes time. You have to repeat it. Compartmentalize. Can't say this enough, because what we're trying to do is very new. It's fairly complex because of the mission critical nature, the number of systems that we're trying to integrate and move to the cloud. We have to be able to break down the functionality into smaller components. This is much harder than it sounds, especially if you have the existing software that you're trying to break down the functionality. Most of the software that have been built, especially in this public safety area, are built for end-tier client server on-premises architecture. They're not compartmentalized. We're not thinking about them in the way that we would build cloud native if you're just building it from scratch. So there's a lot of work to try to simplify and compartmentalize what is the piece of functionality that provides customer value, that we can architect, that we can create as a component, that we can test, that we can iterate on fast. And the final thing that we learned is that we have to be prepared to learn and iterate fast. Well, that's sort of a general thing about any good software, modern software. The unique thing here is that we have to enable our customers to give us that feedback. We have to design the software. We have to think about the software in a way where it's consumable by our customers such that they can give us feedback. That's one. Next, did we instrument our on-premises systems? That most likely were never instrumented to give us telemetry in the way that we would build our modern cloud software. So did we build it in the right way to do that? And then really internally in our processes, because we have on-premises engineering teams, cloud engineering teams, they have to work well together. Are we prepared to really take that data, learn and iterate fast, and deploy back out, and see if the features that we thought was going to work, did they work? What's the new data? This is it was more difficult than we thought, mainly because of the environment that we're working in. If we're building V1 from scratch in the cloud, obviously this is something that you would start with, but this is sort of the key lessons that we learned in this industry that is now, just now, really embracing cloud and moving to the cloud. So that's what I had to share with you today. I will stop there and see if there are any questions. All right, looks like on the chat there are no questions. All right, so I think thank you for your time and attention. I hope this was useful for you, helpful for you to share what we're doing at Motorola Solutions in this space of public safety and mission critical applications and services. I want to remind you of that the Silicon Slopes presentations are ongoing. Our next session will be October 6th. So hopefully you can join us for that session. Thank you so much for your attention.